All right. Welcome, one and all. Welcome to the Crowley's Magic Shop podcast. At the moment, that is a working title. Not sure if we're going to be sticking with that, but anyway, that's what we're going with for the moment. Before we start, just like to get a few things out of the way. Firstly, there are a lot of podcasts about fashion, a lot of shows on YouTube about fashion, but I feel like, I don't know, the way that I'm going to approach it, a lot of them I feel like are unnecessarily negative. Just going to mostly, with a few exceptions, be focusing on things that I like. So you'll probably be hearing a lot throughout this podcast that, oh, I like this, I like that. Well, that's intentional. It's because I've chosen mostly things that I like. Second, if you like this, wouldn't mind, please, if you could check out my Instagram in the description. It's at Crowley's Magic Shop. And also, if you want some good deals, potentially, sometimes, check out my Grailed as well, which will be linked down there. Finally, if you don't want to watch the whole thing, because it will be quite long, there are segment timestamps in the description, so you can skip to the bits that you're interested in, and you don't have to watch the full thing. Getting right into it. Firstly, we have Best of the Week. Now, this segment is where I discuss the best collections, in my opinion, of the week. So first off, we're going to go with the Supreme Spring-Summer 2020 collection. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Supreme, but I do like some of their pieces, and they are releasing so much stuff with every collection. I feel like even if you don't like Supreme, you're bound to like at least a few of the pieces. Anyway, let's get right into it with this suede fringe coat. I think that this is gorgeous. I'm a big fan of fringe coats. In fact, I have one, which is why I will not be trying to get this one. But I think this is really gorgeous. I'm not a big fan of the black because there are lots of black fringe coats. Lots of black fringe coats out there. But I think the red is really unique. And I personally haven't seen one like it. It's in the really beautiful silhouette where it's got the front pockets the way that they are, and it's sort of it goes below the waist. It's like a couple of inches below the waist, which I think is the perfect silhouette for a fringe coat. It's not cropped or anything. It's like a full long body. If I had one gripe about this, it's that I just don't know if they're committing fully to the fringe thing. You know, fringe at the front is all well and good, but you know, sometimes you want fringe on the sleeves as well, and this doesn't have that, which is a bit disappointing. But anyway, I'm not going to be buying it, so what do I have to complain about? Next, this viscose snakeskin shirt comes in 3 colorways: this red, a gold, and a black. I think this is really beautiful. I'm a big fan of snakeskin prints, number 1. And 2, I'm a big fan of this sort of material. It looks to me like it would be really flowy, really light, really silky, just gorgeous, gorgeous shirt. Love the cut, love the materials, love the print. Not such a huge fan of the red colorway because I don't think the print works that well, but the gold is great and the black is pretty good. Yeah, gold is my favorite. This is, just a really nice summer shirt. Really light, as I said. Really flowy. Moving on to, I tentatively say, one of the most interesting pieces this collection, which is this velvet chore coat. Now, the navy colorway, or the dark blue colorway, certainly looks like a velvet, but I think for me, when I first saw it, it was very unexpected that the cow, the one in the front on the right, the brown and white cow print was velvet, because it really doesn't look like it. I think that's really cool, honestly. I think it's really interesting to have that print in a velvet, the silhouette combined with the print, combined with the material, just make it a really unique jacket. Big fan of this. Not a fan of the lime green colorway in the middle there, but I'm a big fan of the cow print, and I think the dark blue navy / navy is just okay. It looks nice, but I don't think it's as interesting as the brown and white. Moving on. Next, I was considering not including this. I don't know, because I think obviously it looks a little bit like an off-white type deal, which, knowing Supreme's history of just ripping shit off, is not the biggest turn on, but what can you do? I think this is a decent piece. Not the best, but I think it's Supreme's probably the best knitwear this collection. I just think that the print is pretty cool, even if it is a bit reminiscent of Off-White. Not going to talk about this one for too long, but yeah, it's just cool. There are 2 other colorways, I believe, but I wasn't a huge fan of either of them. I'm just like this sort of charcoal and white. I think it's cool. Yeah, we'll leave it there. Next, I have quite a lot to say about this trench coat. Comes in 3 colorways here. The black one is just black, but then you have this olive, khaki, and the orange, which come with this bandana sort of paisley print. I think the print, number one, is really interesting. You don't see it anything like that really a lot. It's sort of this check, but each check square, I suppose, has a different pattern, or not everyone, but they interchange, and there are a lot of different patterns on this jacket. I think it's really cool. Number one, there's a piece of outerwear. This same pattern also comes in something else, maybe a shirt. Don't quote me on that. Oh, they definitely come in pants. I know they come in pants. Maybe they come in something else as well. Anyway, gorgeous. The best colorway here is the orange, in my opinion. I think that orange is so beautiful. I don't know what to call it because it's not really a salmon orange. Maybe it is a salmon. Maybe it is. It's sort of almost a pastel kind of, I don't know. I don't really know how to describe the color. I feel like I'm just getting it wrong here, but I like it. That's the point. Big fan of trench coats, and I think this is a bit of an unorthodox color and pattern to see on a piece of outerwear. Anyway, next, this collared shirt. I think this is cool. Excuse me. I think this is really cool. It seems reminiscent of like Comme des Garçons. I feel like I've seen a Comme des Garçons shirt that looks like this, but that's not necessarily to detract from the design, because I feel like this is really funky. I like the black, by the way, better. I think that's my favorite colorway, but I really like this. The print is really cool. I don't think all the time the naive style, like the scribbly style, works, but I think it does on this shirt. I think all the characters are really fun. Speech bubbles I like. I especially like on the white shirt, the little pink dude peeking on the collar. I think that's cool. I don't know, just a shirt. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I do like it. And also the colors, I should mention. The sort of this fusion of like really bright hues with really muted pastel shades looks good. Good shirt. Good shit, Supreme. Next, my favorite piece. Holy moly. These are just great. These are so good. The pleated trousers. That's all they are. Wool blend pleated trousers. Deceptively simple, because these are incredible. You can see the pleat on the front is just so well done. The construction looks amazing. You can see on the left pocket, they even seem to have this inner pocket, so they just look super high quality. The material, which is a wool blend, I can imagine would be a bit thicker, a bit heavyweight. So the way that they sit, I can imagine, is nuts. I just don't have enough good things to say about these trousers. My favourite colourway is the pink, but I'm not against the idea of the olive or the black. I think they're all really great. Really, really, really great. Solid work. These are just beautiful. These are beautiful. I'd love to own a pair. Unfortunately, from the leaks, they're about $150, which I don't know if I would like to spend on a pair of trousers, but I may because chef's kiss. Next. Now, I know I said in the beginning that we're going to be focusing on positivity and constructive criticism, but I do also think that it's a bit fun to rip into some awful Supreme designs. And we have 5 of the worst here, in my opinion. To start off, in the top left, we have this fur Supreme varsity jacket. Ugh. This comes in a couple of other colorways. This is maybe the best of the colorways, but they're all awful. I think the fur looks so tacky. I think maybe that it would be better without the logo on the front, but then again, I don't like the sleeve stripes either, and the bottom and on the collar as well. I just think this is just pretty horrendous design. Don't like it. I just think the varsity jacket, everyone agrees it's such a classic silhouette. They don't need to switch it up. Although, in saying that, I'm pretty sure that Supreme do have some decent varsity jackets. So if I wanted a Supreme varsity jacket, which I don't, it wouldn't be that hard to find one. But anyway, this is bad. Next, top right, this patchwork leather, zip up hoodie. Silhouette, number 1, get it out of the way. Bad silhouette. Fucking ugly. Next, the most egregious part, which is the patchwork leather. Now, this is a style that's not uncommon. You see it on a lot of vintage leather jackets. I'm not sure exactly what era they're from. Probably like the 70s or 80s, but this is just bad. I've never seen a patchwork leather vintage jacket that I liked, and I still maintain that I've never seen a patchwork leather jacket that I like, because this is shit. Bad. Supreme. Bad. Next, bottom left. This one almost made it into the ones that I liked, because I think the print, for the most part, is pretty good. I think the colours are good. The only problems that I have with it is that I wish it wasn't airbrushed, like that faded, soft edges. I just don't like. I think it would have been a lot better if they were hard edges and like more striking, bold colours. Yeah, it almost made it. The other thing is that it's just the branding, like the little Supreme box logos that you have peeking out occasionally. Just unnecessary. Supreme has demonstrated this season and in the past, it's not new, that they can get some really cool pieces without having that branding, and I just think it's unnecessary. I think it's there to drive the hype up for a piece that is not good to begin with. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Let's move on to the bottom middle, which is this biker jacket. Number 1, the letters are so unreadable, and I know that that's not always super necessary, but just make your shit easy to read is better than making it really hard to read. Because if you're trying to flex, which, let's face it, why else are you buying this jacket, then you want people to know instantly that it's Supreme, but you can't even tell. If I didn't know this was Supreme, I'd have to look really hard to decipher the gibberish that's written on the front. It's just a bad jacket. Even the materials, I believe that the letters are leather. But then I think the underneath, it's like it looks to me to be either a stiff cotton or a synthetic mesh sort of material, and it looks really cheap, looks really awful. Like, occasionally Aldi has like leather biker jackets on sale. And I think I would rather have an Aldi biker jacket than this. Even the patches on the sleeves. Like, I understand that it's the brand that they're collaborating with, but still shit. Bad jacket. Next, we have the... a lot has been said about these. I'm not going to add a lot. I'm not going to talk about these for long because I think a lot has already been said. Probably don't have anything that amazingly original or groundbreaking to add, but the Supreme Nike Air Force One lows are just a really lazy collab. Supreme has had some cool collabs with Nike, in my opinion. The Lux Air Max 95s from last year were cool. The Air Jordan 5s, the Supreme Gatos, just to list a few. But this is just not a good collab. Just take a step back, Supreme. Create a cool design for a shoe rather than just slapping your branding on it. Because you can. You can. I know you can. I know you can. Just please. Anyway. Next collection is the Viviene Westwood Autumn Winter 21. Now, obviously, they're shooting a season ahead because at Fashion Weeks this past month, we have just seen some Spring-Summer 20 collections. But Vivienne Westwood has jumped ahead to Autumn Winter 21. Now, I haven't seen all the collections from Autumn 21, but I'm pretty sure that it's very safe to say that this is going to be one of my favorites because this collection is amazing. I don't have time to go through every piece, but we're going to go through a few of my favorites. It's just good collection. First, these trousers. These come in a couple of colorways. You've got this black here, and they also come in like it's like a camo blue-green. Not a big fan of the other colorways, but this colorway works really well. Excuse me. I'm a big fan of high-waisted trousers. Big fan, as you'll see. Big fan of high-waisted trousers. And these are great because they're a high-waisted pair of trousers, but in a unique, they've put an original spin on it. Now, as you can see in the image, you've got this regular pair of trousers, and then where the waistband is, this bodice, sort of tight black bodice, is attached to bring the waist up. I think these are sick. It adds a really cool element of layering. The button details that they have, the 4 buttons there, are really, really cool. I like the zipper. It looks like a zipper. Yeah, I think that's a zipper on the front. It's really cool. Nice touch. These are a really classic silhouette of straight leg trousers with the pleat down the front, but then the really interesting bodice attached. Sick. Really cool. Really, really cool trousers. Next, this jacket. Primarily I'm focusing on the jacket in this golden brown velvet is so beautiful. First of all, the colors and the way that the velvet reflects the light. Obviously, there's no way to tell if it would actually look like that in person because a lookbook has, it's done in a photograph studio, so it could be, the light could be adjusted to make it look that way, but it's, in this image at least, it's so gorgeous that, like, brown base, and then in the light, it shines as this gold. It looks so gorgeous. The embroidery, which is a little more subtle, around on this, you can see it on the sleeves and on the body. It goes all around the jacket. The padded shoulders are really cool, retro. I like the high collar. Just everything about this jacket is really nice. Even the length of it, I think, is pretty close to perfect. Not as much to say about the trousers. Obviously, the same really beautiful color. I think they're a good cut. Straight leg, again. Not a lot to say about them, though. They're just good. Whereas I think the jacket is pretty excellent. Next, this suit. The jacket is so beautiful. This jacket comes in this suit comes in a couple of different colors. I think this is the best. this green and blue aqua sort of check. It's gorgeous. The obviously oversized blazers are pretty in right now, and I really like the exaggerated shoulders, the long line, so it goes pretty like, you know, mid thigh cut. It's really cool. The 2 pockets on the left side, or his right, are really great. And then obviously the standout detail, which is his lapel. So beautiful. Oh my goodness. The lapel is just wonderful. So great. This humongous lapel, which is reminiscent of oversized lapels in the 20th century. It's a very, it was a very popular thing. It's only very recently that the slim suits with the tiny lapels have come in, but that oversized lapel is so gorgeous, so gorgeous. Not as much to say about the trousers, honestly, because they're a little disappointing. As I said, I'm a big fan of high-waisted trousers, and I think they work well in that respect. But I would have liked to see them a bit wider, I think. They're not bad, but they just could have... I think a wider leg could have complemented the jacket a little bit better. But that's not to say that they're bad, because I like them, and I really like the check as well. Lastly, we're just going to briefly touch on these boots. They're not wholly original because you can get boots like this that are Balenciaga, obviously the Saint Laurent Wyatts or the Calvin Klein Chelsea boots are all a similar silhouette, but that's not to say that these are bad. I think these are still a really beautiful pair of Cuban heel boots. No, it's not quite a Cuban heel. A really cool pair of high-heeled boots with that zipper down the side. They look gorgeous. Good ensemble here. Next, we have this overcoat. I'm not exactly sure what this material is. It almost looks like a leather, like a bleached leather, but then I don't think that they would have been able to... Oh, I'm not sure. I don't think they would have been able to get this effect from a leather. Maybe it is. I'm not sure. Anyway, point is, it's pretty nice. It does look dyed, hand-dyed or hand-bleached. Spots of brown and white are really nice. You've got the whole cut of the jacket, which is beautiful. The mid-calf, or sort of this really long overcoat. I like the way that it's cinched up in the body and then goes out into a wider skirt down at the legs. It looks really good. I'm not a huge fan of straight overcoats, and so I think that this one works really well. This is just gorgeous. I would really hope that it's not a repeated pattern on the fabric. I would really hope that you get like a unique one with every time, but I wouldn't be able to say. Wouldn't be against it anyway if it was a repeated pattern, because it is quite a gorgeous coat. Moving on to my absolute favorite piece of this collection. Maybe even not this collection, maybe even this year. Maybe even this decade, maybe ever. My favorite piece of clothing ever made, ever. That's probably going a bit too far, but you know what I mean. This beautiful storm blue velvet coat. Oh my goodness. First of all, the same way that I talked about the brown coat, this one reflects color beautifully, as is the nature of velvet, with this gorgeous storm blue sort of lightening to this cloud, really light grey blue. The embroidery, the pocket details, the buttons, the collar, the way it's a bit puffy, the wide sleeves, the cut that it's super long. I mean, it's just so gorgeous. I don't even know if I would be too short to wear this coat, because it does look really long, but I'm astonished. I don't know what to say. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous coat. Amazing. Amazing. By far my favorite piece from this collection. As I said, maybe my favorite piece ever. Don't have anything else to say because I'm just speechless. So let's move on to the Moncler Craig Green collection. Now, this is not the first time that Craig Green has worked with Moncler. This is their, I actually don't know, maybe their second or third collection with Moncler. Anyway, let's get into it. These are not the most wearable pieces. They are a bit more experimental, but I think they are worth talking about because as objects of design, they're really worth speaking on. They all follow this same sort of pattern where you've got the big rectangular like blanket that covers their whole body. You've got this sort of, it's not as obvious in these, it's more obvious in the later ones, but you've got the pink stripes that sort of aim to imitate a human body. You've got some near the arms, some on the torso, some on the legs. The colours on this one in particular are really pretty with this light blue, like semi-translucent colour, which means that the skin tone of who's wearing it can show through. And I think this could be really interesting, you know, with different skin tones, making it lighter or darker. Could create some really beautiful color combinations with this piece. Don't know what to call it, like a jacket or a trousers or blanket. This blanket. Anyway, this is pretty good. I like the colors. I like the way that it plays with the human form. I like this one. Moving on, we have this where the last one was a bit more jovial, a bit more playful, and especially in terms of color. We have this one which is a bit darker. It almost looks like a Sith Lord or like something out of Lord of the Rings. This quilted material, first off, looks absolutely gorgeous with the colors, with this striking white, black, and then the pops of red occasionally, which show up and around the piece. I think this is really gorgeous. It looks incredibly well made. The print is super cool. You've got the actual silhouette of a hand on those little mittens where the hands are. This is really cool. It almost looks like a target, like a shooting target, which could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you look at it. I think it's a really, really cool piece. I especially like the little bits of legs that are peeking out the bottom with that padded material. I think that could be really interesting, just as a pair of trousers by itself. Then moving on to my favourite piece from it, which is this really obvious. It's a little less extreme than some of the others, I'd say, because it's just got this human silhouette printed on it, with the head covering his head, the head printed on, the hand silhouettes again. It follows the human form down. This looks even more like a target than the last one. It has the same colours, which I just said I expressed my like for. They work really well. Now that I'm just seeing it, I don't know if those dotted lines are meant to be like, I wouldn't imagine if they're meant to be like you cut down them to make it a little bit more wearable. But I can't imagine that you would do that. No, especially because they go through the red zippers. No way. Disregard that. Anyway, I think the way the print, it looks really cool. Those arrows on the bottom look really cool. The colors look really cool. Yeah, good piece. As I said earlier at the start, this collection isn't most wearable, but it works as sort of, it maybe even works more as an art piece than it does fashion design, which I think in a certain circumstance, that overlap can be really beautiful and it can be really valuable to talk about. But as fashion, probably not so much. I don't think any of us are ever going to wear this Although maybe I'll see someone wearing like one of the pieces from this collection at the Met Gala or something. Anyway, moving on to a slightly more wearable, the second collection of Moncler in this video, and a slightly more wearable collection at that, is the Moncler JW Anderson collection. So, to start this off, we have this ensemble here. Now, this has a lot of pieces which come in a lot of different colours. The jacket comes in a few different colours. The boots come in a different set of colours. And now that I'm looking at it, I believe that those on her legs, they look to me like they're shorts, which I'm not a big fan of. Maybe that ruins the ensemble slightly. I don't know, they work though, I guess. Anyway, they all come in a variety of different colours. The first thing that I want to talk about is this scarf. Puffer scarves, I was about to say puffer coats. Puffer scarves have seen an uprising a bit lately. There are a couple of different brands that do them. The ones that spring to mind are, you had a Cold Wall that did a couple. I believe that Rick Owens did one. Or maybe I'm thinking about his puffer jacket with the like neck scarf thing. Anyway, there are a few. Look some up. I'm sure you find other examples that I can't think of the top of my head. But I think this is a really cool way to do it. It's really unique, the way that they have these spikes. I think it's really sick. I really like the spikes. I don't know if they are like part of the same puffer material and therefore squishy, or if they're like a hardened thing, though I'd hope not, because they look like they're wrapping around her neck, and that would be uncomfortable to wear. I would imagine that they'd be squishy, but I think this is sick. It's such a cool idea, such a cool execution. I think JW Anderson is a good designer. They do a lot of interesting things, especially what springs to mind immediately is their Converse collaborations, which I'm a big fan of. Big fan of. But anyway, this is really, really cool. Even the jacket underneath, I'm a big fan of. I like the dents that are an opposite to the spikes of the scarf. Work well in the ensemble, especially as an inverse. As I said earlier, I'm not a big fan of the shorts. They do work with the runway look, but I don't know how good they would look as an individual piece, whereas I think that the jacket and the scarf would work really well as an individual piece. I'm not so sure about the shirt, the shorts. I'm not so sure about the shorts. The bags I don't like in this collection as a whole, as a blanket statement. Not a fan. I think they could have probably done better with them. But anyway, what can you do? The shoes, again, well, it's more of a personal dislike of them, but I do think they are well designed. I just wouldn't wear them personally, but I do think they are cool. And again, they come in a variety of different colours. Moving on to the next ensemble. This print is amazing. This duck print looks so cool. Oh my goodness, I'm such a big fan of these. The colours work amazing. First off, you have this light, very, very, very light brown, almost like an eggshell colour as the base, and then you have like a green that makes up the reeds and the lily pads, and then you have hits of orange and brown with the ducks and the flowers. This print is awesome. So well done. JW Anderson, you did a great job with this one. Again, not a fan of the bag, but the best part about this ensemble is honestly the print. Like, none of the pieces are amazing, but just the print. Like, I'd love to see this print on like an overcoat or a shirt. Probably a shirt would be the best thing. But yeah, great stuff. Next, we have a sort of a ensemble of all the best things about this collection, which is nice. This scarf in a different color, this time yellow, which I'm a big fan of. I like the yellow better than I like the other one. The puffer coat is nothing special, but oh well. The print on the bags, you can see it also came in another colorway, which is this sort of red brown, like I don't know, like a maroon sort of deep red. I don't think it works as well in that color. Obviously, it's a lot better in the light brown, in my opinion, because I think it just sort of on the light brown base, all the colors work together really well. But on the red base, I feel like they all blend together. You've got the red as the base, and then you've got the reeds, which have been changed. The color's been changed to this like dark red, dark red, almost black. And then the ducks, which are before on the brown base, with this beautiful brown and orange, which works really well. And here they just sort of blend in. I don't know, not as big a fan of the red as I am the brown, but anyway, the print is still beautiful. This ensemble as a whole, I think, is really cool. I haven't even talked about the puffer chain either, which I think is just fun. Yeah, don't know if I like it, but it's fun and interesting. I can't fault it necessarily. Just, it exists, and it exists. That's all I'm going to say. Next, we have, God, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this, but Dungyun Zhang. I'm so sorry if I pronounced that wrong. In any case, a lot of you have probably seen this. It's been pretty big this week. But he has these amazing, hardly know what to call them, these amazing, like, helmet masks that come in a variety of different colorways. We'll just skip ahead. I'll show you the colors and then we'll talk about them. So you have them in this light blue. It looks almost like a 3M, the way that the light's playing off of it. Looks like a 3M reflective. Then you have this gloss black, and then you have this, my favorite, which is this silver red. Now, from my understanding, some of these are samples, so not all of them will come out, but there are a few other colorways that I haven't included here. I think these are super cool. Masks in fashion are really great. A really great way to add a little bit of spice to your clothing. They just add a lot of ambiguity. Obviously, they were big. Well, I mean, they've been around for a while. You had Kanye West, obviously iconic moment. It is Yeezus or My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I don't remember which. The tour where he wore the beautiful Maison Margiela masks, and then more recently you have it's actually behind me. Hold on. The styling for the new lookbook for Undercover with the Clockwork Orange collab, where you have those masks that were in the lookbook. Really cool. And then even Orville Peck, which is a new face in the country scene, and he wears these super sweet vintage looking beaded fringed masks, which are really cool and handmade as well, which is nice, like to see it. But anyway, getting back to these masks, which we haven't talked about a lot yet. These are great. I think these are really cool. They add a really interesting look to the ensembles that we see. They're sort of oversized. Not sure if they're very wearable, but they're really cool all the same. They're these big helmets. They look like they're out of a spacesuit. They're super sci-fi. Just really unique, interesting. I'll be excited to see what this designer does, because wasn't a huge fan necessarily of the rest of the collection, which I feel like was really shapeless and a little bit ugly, but maybe that's just not my taste. I guess some of the designs were pretty cool, just, again, not my taste. But the masks were, in my opinion, by far and away the best part of this runway show. he's an up-and-coming designer, and as I said, I'm excited to see what he does next. I hope he doesn't limit himself to just doing these puffers. I hope in general, in fashion, masks become a bit more of a trend, because I'd like to see them, and not like face masks like Bape or Off-White. Not those shit kind of masks, the good kind of masks, like we see here. Anyway, moving on to the second segment, sneaker news. I'm a big fan of sneakers. Bit of a sneakerhead, if I do say so myself. Let's get into some sneakers. First up, the Yeezy 700 MNVN, or the Yeezy 700 minivan. These are cool. I am a big fan of the Yeezy 700 silhouette. I think the best is still the original Wave Runner. That's probably the best Yeezy, full stop. So I don't think these are better than them, but they do offer an interesting alternative. Number one, the price of these is lower by about $80 US, whereas the regular ones I think retail for $300. These only go for $220, which ties into sort of, I suppose, it ties into Kanye's like motto that he wants everyone to have Yeezys, although these are region locked, so maybe he doesn't want everyone to have Yeezys. Who knows? He's sending us mixed messages out here. Anyway, I think these are a good shoe. The 700, as I said, good in general. These are an interesting alternative. I think they may be better than the V2s, because I don't like the V2s very much, but yeah, I mean, these are interesting. They get the conversation going. And I think it's also interesting to see Kanye's a completely different design aesthetic for these, with more of a minimal design aesthetic than his normal sort of busy design aesthetic. Anyway, moving on. Next, we have the Air Jordan 2 Rivals. I think the Air Jordan 2 in general is quite an underrated silhouette. Although there are a couple of really popular Air Jordan 2, like the Don C ones. I'm trying to think of others, but I can't. Just, it's a bit underrated. Let's leave it there. It's a bit underrated. I think the way that the materials work on this is really cool, and the way that the colors are tied into those materials. You've got, to list them all off, you've got the patent leather at the toe box. Then you've got this tumbled basketball leather at the toe. Moving up, you have this satin material that comes in the purple and blue. You have a quilted leather, which comes on one side of the ankle collar, and then you have a mesh that comes on the other, and then finally on the tongue you have this, I think it's perforated leather. Yeah, it does look that way. Looks like perforated leather. Anyway, I think this is really cool. A lot of the time, sort of shoes in this style, like what the style shoes, I think can be a bit overdone. But I think these are really great. Yeah, they're really great. It's more of a subtle approach. Obviously, they're still statement shoes. Absolutely, don't get me wrong. They're still statement shoes. I personally don't think I would wear them, but I think that they are a really well done shoe. I think the materials are really cool. The way that all the different materials come together on the shoe is really cool. Good job. Next, we have another name that I'm probably going to mispronounce, which is the Nike X JW Anderson Air Jordan 34. Now, I don't think many people are big fans of the Air Jordan 34. That is obviously the most recent Air Jordan. But I think this is a really interesting colorway. This is based on the pop art movement, which was popular in the mid-20th century with artists such as Andy Warhol, Yayoi Kusama. Artists such as those popularized it. It's cool. This is a cool shoe. The colors, the pastel sort of toned down tones on the shoe, toned down tones. The toned down colors, really beautiful colors. Good work with that. I really like the dots that are like comic book style dots. this is just cool. If there's one thing that I wish it didn't have, is the clear upper panels, because I think that clear mesh on shoes has run its course. I don't think it was that good to begin with. I just wish that it would die, honestly. But I think it works decently well on these anyway. It's not awful, but I just wish it wasn't there. I'm more of a fan of the mid than I am the low, but I think they're both pretty cool. Good shoe. And I mean, if there ever was a Jordan 34 that I would cop, it would be this pair, because I think all the others are just meh. Anyway, now the LeBron 17 low. Now this may be a controversial take. This may be, but I think that the LeBron 17 low is better than the LeBron 17 high. That may be the only time I will ever say that about a Jordan or a LeBron, that the low is better than the high. But in this case, I think it may be true. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of the LeBron 17 to begin with. I think it's kind of meh. My favorite shoe of all time is the LeBron 15. So you might see the disappointment when this one is just not as good. Although I do enjoy a couple of the colorways. The Space Jam colorways so far have been pretty good. Anyway, the LeBron low this year, traditionally not good. This year, doing it well. I think this is pretty sleek. The colorway here, the red and black colorway, is pretty cool. Not such a fan of the Toon Squad colorway that you see here. I definitely don't like the hairy swoosh. But anyway, I think this is cool. It works. Maybe better than the LeBron 17 high. Although, as I'm saying that, and as I'm sitting here talking about it, it doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem right, because there are some good colorways of the high. Anyway, maybe I'll reminisce and get back to you next week. Maybe we'll see some new colorways by then. Anyway, moving on, the Vans Origami Pack. Now, Vans are no stranger to deconstructed silhouettes. They have done a few by now, but I think this is a really unique take. Obviously, they have the three different colorways here. You have the classic black Van slip-on with the checkerboard overlay. Then in the middle, you have the Vans Era, I believe, with the purple crocodile skin overlay, which is very striking. And then on the far left, you have the checkerboard Era with the black leather, tumbled leather overlay. Now, I think this is a really interesting and unique take on the deconstructed silhouettes. My favorite here is the crocodile skin, although I hope that it's actually textured and not just a print. Sometimes Nike has been known, some shoe brands have been known to pull a sneaky on you, and it's just like a flat leather with a print on it, and I don't think that's a good. But if this was textured crocodile skin, it would be really cool. It would be really cool. You listening, Vans? Anyway, good shoe, interesting take. Maybe you're pushing your luck a bit. Maybe step back, give it a break for a little bit, come back to it. But for the moment, doing it well. Next, we have the New Balance Kawhi. This is Kawhi Leonard's first real signature shoe. I thought he had a signature shoe before this, but apparently he didn't. I really like this one. I think the silhouette is kind of meh, but the way that the materials work, you've got the graph around the ankle collar, you've got the embroidered wibbly wobbly pattern in the midfoot. It works. This colorway really works. I hope that they continue to do cool colorways like this, and this isn't the only one, because I think that would be a really wasted potential. But also, I'm not getting my hopes up, because often, you come out with a bang and then just drop down to some more mediocre colorways. But I think this shoe is good. It's good. Next, the Adidas and Craig Green Polter Ach 2. Now, Craig Green has already done a collaboration with Adidas. In fact, there are quite a few silhouettes that we saw on a runway show a couple of seasons ago. This is great. Wow. Well done, Craig Green. Well done. Second time we're talking about you on this show. Must like you. This is good. This is really good. This is a really interesting collaboration. I think in a world where collaborations are getting lazier and lazier in order to build the hype more and more, this one is unafraid to sort of give the hype the finger and just do its own thing, which I think is great. It comes in 6 colorways. You've got the gold up the top, then the red and orange, then the blue, then the green, and a black and white, and finally this orange and yellow. I'm not sure what color is my favorite. I think it might be the green, because I'm a big fan of that red stripe on the heel. But this is a great shoe. This is a really great shoe. The materials are really interesting. I just got done trash talking clear overlays, but I think it works really well when you have this, on this shoe in particular, when you have this clear overlay over another material. I think it looks sick. This is such a cool shoe. Yeah, don't sleep on this one, because the last one was a bit slept on, in my opinion. Not as good as this, but a bit slept on. Don't sleep on this, please. Such a good shoe. Craig Green and the Adidas has such good potential to be just such a good collaboration, and this is a really good example of that. Banging job. Next, my favorite shoe that I'm going to talk about this week. After this shining review, how could something be better than this? Well, the GmbH X Asics Gel Nandy 360. Wow. This shoe is incredible. It's taking more of a classic runner, not with, it's not chunky, not following many trends right now. But let's break it down. So first of all, you have these flowy lines on the upper, which are really great. They make the shoe look really interesting. The upper in this sort of, I don't exactly know what material it is. It's this sort of stiffer mesh, it looks like. Great. Good. Then we move down to the patent leather on the logo and the tongue and the toe box. Now, sometimes I think patent leather can be a bit overdone. I'm looking at you, Jordan. But this case, it's nice and subtle. It's not taking up the whole shoe. It's just a couple of details. It's not going to crease really badly like patent shoes are known to do. It's just a nice touch. Take notes, people who want to make patent leather shoes. Take notes, because this is how to do it. Next, we move down onto the sole, where you have this split materials between this more matte. It's not matte, but it's more matte. Light pink and almost, washed green, like a light, like a limestone green, and then this gloss, semi-translucent, hot pink and black. This shoe is fucking fantastic. I prefer, in my opinion, the olive and pink shoe. I think that's a better colorway, but still the black and limestone is awesome. I wish I had shown a picture of the heel as well, because you have this really cool, it's the devil is in the details in this one. You have this really cool crossed hammers on the back. This shoe is damn near perfect. So good. So good. I love the silhouette already. I love that sole, especially from the silhouette. But this is just taking it to the next level. I am going to be trying to cop this. If you do want to cop it, it's coming out tomorrow, actually. The day I'm recording this, it's coming out the next day. I'm not sure where it's dropping, all the places, but I know it's dropping on endclothing.com. So if you want to enter the raffle there, go ahead. I'm going to be trying to get it from there. But this is just such a gorgeous shoe. Fantastic. 10 out of 10. Moving on. Award season. Now, before we get into the looks, this is from the Britpop Awards, which, in my knowledge, celebrates British music. Let me know if I'm wrong there, but I think that's what happens. This is one of the more obscure award shows now that we've just had the Oscars and the Grammys, but it is the most recent, so this is the one that I wanted to talk about. So let's get into it. A few looks from this. First off, we have Billie Eilish and her brother, Phineas. Phineas's look is meh. I don't like the mixing patterns. I don't like the belt, and I don't like the shoes. Billie Eilish's look is a step in the right direction. I think overcoats should be worn more at award shows. Definitely should be worn more. But I think this one is a bit tacky. I don't like the metal rings and the eyelets. They just look a little bit meh. Obviously, we all know how everyone feels about Burberry. Just a bit meh. Not doing anything particularly special. I do like the bonnet. I think that's cool. But maybe not with green hair. I don't know. This look is kind of close in so many ways, but it didn't make it. And that's the point. It wasn't there. Billie Eilish, you're in the right direction. You just haven't made it there. Still on the journey. Lizzo. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Lizzo. I have things to say about her, but that's not the point. We're going to get into her look here. Now, I'm sure the irony was not lost on her stylist when they put her in a chocolate dress, but this is pretty good. I think this dress is cool. It's from Moschino, by the way. They did a whole collection. It's a few years old. I'm not exactly sure how old it is, but they did a collection where they did a bunch of dresses inspired by sort of knockoff food. They did like a Macca's one, etc., etc. This is good. I think this is a good dress. I like the colour. The brown works really well, especially with Lizzo's skin tone. It looks really, really nice. I like the text. I like the barcode. I think it's really unique. I think it's good. Good dress. Good dress. Harry Styles. Now, you're probably wondering why I have the one next to it, and that's because this absolute madman wore 3 looks to the Brit Awards. Holy shit. Stop, Harry. Stop, man. Oh my goodness. An icon. This first one, you've got this sort of, you can't see it well in this image, but it's a lacy collar with pearls and a purple knit under this beautiful dark brown suit with flared pants. Now, I think that this is mostly there. I really like it from like the ankles up. My one problem with it is the shoes. I don't know what shoes would have been better because I understand and I recognize the look that he's going for, where he's sort of going for that like grandma aesthetic, I suppose, with the pearls and the buckle shoes and the collar. I'm just not a big fan of the shoes. That's all I'm going to say about him, though, because I think the rest of the look, he killed it. The only other small gripe that I have is that I just don't know about his hair. But this is a fashion show. This is a fashion podcast. We don't need to worry about that. Next, Harry Styles' second look. Ooh. Oh. I think I'm in heat about this one, because, man, oh man, this is so gorgeous. This yellow 3-piece suit with these white buckle, can't exactly see what they are, but they're gorgeous, and this purple shirt. Holy, this is great. Good look. The suit itself, sort of breaking it down, has this vintage, very vintage aesthetic, where it's got the rounded edges with the very visible gloss stitching. It works. It really does. It's sort of like a 70s look, and it really works. The waistcoat is a good look. The pants, they're, again, a bit flared. They're beautiful. And the shirt, not usually a big fan of yellow and purple, but in this instance, it really works. I don't know. Harry Styles, you're killing the game, my guy. This is an incredible look. not to mention, didn't even talk about it, but that shade of yellow is just perfect. Fucking beautiful. Next, Harry Styles' third look, which in my opinion, unfortunately, is his weakest. Now, this is a matching trousers and shirt and gloves. It's not a pantsuit, although it looks like it, because you can see the braces on the left there under his arm. So it's not a pantsuit. But I mean, just not a big fan of this. I don't like the way that the material is textured. I'm not exactly sure what it is, if it's a sequin or if it's embroidered, but it's just not there. I think the shirt is cool, as a cool silhouette with the flared lace sleeves. I think work really well, but this look as a whole just isn't quite hitting like the other two were. Unfortunately, you hate to see it, but anyway, moving on to Georgia Smith. This is such a cool and interesting look. You don't see it very often. Now, this is a skin tight bodysuit, I suppose you would call it. Now, I think this is really cool. The colors are great. This yellow and this orange. Again, it almost looks like that, like a yayoi sort of art piece on her body. It's cool. It works with her figure really well. Yeah, it's good. It's good. The only problem that I have with them, which is just sort of personal, I guess, because I think that it works with the outfit, but I just don't like those shoes. The bubbles just look awful, in my opinion. But again, that's just like my personal preference. It works with the look. This is a good look. Georgia Smith, don't know who you are, but well done. Next, Grace Carter. Again, I have no idea who Grace Carter is, but this look is really good. This 3-piece, you've got this jacket, which is almost like a denim jacket silhouette with these high-waisted trousers, and then it almost looks to me like a turtleneck shirt underneath, all in the same or a similar print. Now, this is really cool. I can't tell exactly what the print is, but the colors are really beautiful. They're really vibrant. You've got these greens, which is a primary color, but you've also got hints of blue, touches of blue, touches of red, and bits of oranges and browns, and it all just works really well on this deep green base. So gorgeous. The silhouettes work by themselves, and then you've got this beautiful print to support them. This is great. This is a good look. Not to mention, obviously not as good as the rest, but just to touch briefly on the boots, which are really great. Oh my goodness. Footwear game on point. Square toes get a bit of a bad rap, but I think that they really work in this scenario, especially with those heels. This is a great look. Well done. Good look. Then the best. No, not this. This isn't the best. My goodness, getting ahead of myself. Stormzy. Now, Stormzy almost did it, because I think that sweater that he's wearing is great. The way that that sort of stitch that you can see on around his neck is really sick. Really works. Really cool. The ribbed sweater with that stitch line looks great. But I just don't like the pants, and the trainers are just weak, in my opinion. I think the trainers are the biggest letdown, because I think he could have done so much more. I'm sure Stormzy is into sneakers. I'm sure he could have got something a bit more out there. Like, I understand that whatever he's wearing, whether it looks like a Stan Smith or a Common Projects, it's a classic, right? I get that. But he just could have done more. If he did like a Balenciaga, like a track sneaker, or Balenciaga Triple S even though that is a bit overdone. If he just did something else. I mean, the all white is great. I like it, but just the sneaker is it's sneaker game weak. And then the trousers I don't think are the right trousers to be wearing with sneakers, in my opinion. So Stormzy, from the waist up, you did a good job. From the waist down, could have been a lot better. Next, FKA Twigs, which was the best look at Brit Awards, in my opinion, because this is great. FKA Twigs is killing the game right now. She is in this beautiful black and white ensemble. Starting at the trousers, it's all in this sort of high gloss, I don't know what it is, like a silk or a satin material, or it could even be a velvet. Looks gorgeous. I think these are trousers that she's got on. I believe they're trousers. The silhouette of them is really cool. The way that they end mid-calf, like way before her ankles. The way that they slim out as you go down. The leggings underneath with those stiletto heels. Perfect. Then on the way up, you get to this belt, which is in this sort of lacy, ruffly, white fabric, which goes out into a train. It's fantastic. It's unique. It's interesting. And then you've got this jacket, which has this really weird, cool cutout, and the waist there. And then you have the sleeves, which are like almost medieval. The super puffy sleeves that get cinched at the elbow and then are pretty slim at the forearm. And then you have this lacy cuff on them, which ruffles out on the hands. Wow. FKA Twigs killing the game. This is not quite as good, in my opinion, as her look at the Grammys, but just still, it's just good. If you're not following her on Instagram, what the hell are you doing? You are missing out. You're missing out. I'm plugging her Instagram. Man, she should hire me. FK Twigs, if you're watching this, you know what to do. Anyway, getting into the last segment, I believe, which is Grails. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to be every week. Don't know if I'm going to do this every week, but we're going to do it for the moment. This segment is going to be talking about my favorite shoes of the year so far, because some of them were announced a while ago, some of them have already come out, and I didn't get them, and I want to talk about them. First off, these Maharashi X Nike Air Max 720s. Now, these are great. Maharashi have done a few collaborations with Nike before. This is not their best, in my opinion. Their best are the red wool Air Force Ones. Those are fucking great, but they're also super expensive and super hard to get your hands on. These are really, really cool. They were done with the Nike by You program, which means that everything here is changeable, from the sole to the upper to the lining to the laces, everything. The first up, the upper, this embroidered leopard skin was really cool. It came in a variety of colors. It's just really cool. Sometimes leopard print can look a bit tacky, but in this case, I think it was done so well. So well. This is such a beautiful shoe. And the Nike by You program lended itself perfectly to this, because you could create some really cool, some really unique, some really interesting looks. Unfortunately, these are now going to be super hard to get, because obviously with the Nike by You program, it's going to be hard to get it in exactly the way that you want, but it's cool. It works. I like it a lot. Next, the Sacai Nike Vapor Waffles. I believe these are called. I didn't check, so maybe I got it wrong. If I did, feel free to correct me. These are Nike's best shoe collaboration with Sacai, in my opinion. I'm like the waffle, the LD waffle. Didn't so much like the blazer, but these are the best. They play with exaggerated silhouette. The exaggerated silhouette is so great. The colors of this particular colorway is so great. In my opinion, this colorway is the best. They've been shown in two other colorways, the black and the white, which I like, but I just like this more. and the yellow and the green, which I don't like personally. Any case, the maroon and the green and the black and the like cream off-white work super, super, super nicely here. This is gorgeous. The materials are great. The suede on the toe, the leather on the back, the mesh looks really interesting. The way that the paint is on the mesh with that light blue swoosh, and also the maroon sort of lace eyelets up at the top you can see there. This is great. It's such a good shoe. Sakai's best shoe with Nike. The sole, I haven't even gotten to the sole yet, but the sole is the best part. That yellowed, deconstructed look is so great. I love yellowed soles. I love vintage, aged looking soles, and this just works so well. So well. The fusion of vintage and new in this silhouette is perfect. I will be looking to pick these up. They will be super hard to get and the resale will be super high, but I will be looking to pick these up. Don't sleep. Next. Whew. What do I have to say about these? These are incredible. Now, the tabby boot, Margiela, the Maison Margiela tabby boot, is quite a divisive shoe. I happen to be a huge fan of it. The Instapump Fury, also a pretty divisive shoe. Again, big fan. Together, they make such an amazing fusion. The huge heel with the platform at the toe works fucking great. The way that the Instapump Fury overlay goes on the tabby boot, it makes such a unique feeling and interesting shoe. Vetements obviously have an ongoing collaboration with Reebok as well, and this shoe right here just goes to show what a weak fucking collaboration the Vetements and Reebok collaboration is, because this is insane. This is so cool. This is just great. This is wonderful. Just amazing. 10 out of 10. Reebok, Maison Margiela, killed it. Absolutely killed it. This also comes in a couple of other colorways. Comes in an all white and an all black. This is my favorite with the OG Instapump Fury. I just think it looks great. And it also comes in like a, not as an extreme, but like it's a combat boot. The Maison Margiela combat boot Instapump Fury, which I don't think is as good because I like the tabby more. Whew. These are great. Unfortunately, I probably won't be picking these up because Reebok tends to charge designer prices for its designer collaborations. These will probably go for $1,000 or more, unfortunately, which means I probably won't be picking them up, but great shoe, wonderful, love them. Next, this is a bit weird, not necessarily so sure about having these on the list, but I happened to see these at a vintage store on the weekend. These are the Church's slippers. Church's is an English footwear brand that make really high quality leather shoes. I was just blown away seeing these in person by their beautiful simplicity. I don't think these are anything crazy. Obviously, they're not spectacular to look at, but they're just a beautiful little object of design. Unfortunately, which this is quite unfortunate, I will not be trying to pick these up because they are $350 new, which I think is quite a ridiculous price for what they are. What you're looking at right now is just, that's insane for $350. And it's a real shame that the ones in the vintage store didn't fit me. But if I see these again for hopefully decently cheap, I will be absolutely getting these because I think these are fantastic. Not something that you would see every day and be blown away by. And if I'd seen these online, I probably wouldn't have been blown away by them. But seeing them in person, they're just great. Good shoe. All right, that's the podcast. Thank you for watching, everybody. If you made it to the end, thank you very much. I know this is quite long, but thank you for making it to the end. If you just, watch some of the timestamps, thank you. I really appreciate any amount of time invested in this video. I will hopefully be doing this again next week, and there may even be some content between now and then, but we will see. In any case, once again, thank you for watching. Check out the links in the description, and I'll see you next week.